Hey, this is Pastor Frank, and we're going to go to the book of Galatians real quick today. If you were with us last time, we said that the book of Galatians should sit right on top in terms of its importance with the book of Romans. Romans is the message of grace, the message of the person of Jesus, who we receive as our life. Galatians is the defense of that gospel. Ever since the fall, man has always wanted in his flesh to do something, to merit benefit to himself. In the fall, Adam ate from the tree of performing, and man went from an achiever instead of a receiver. Jesus set that record straight when he said, I live out of the Father, and now you live out of me. John 6:57. We don't achieve for ourselves significance, value, strength, peace, joy, love. We receive all of it from him. A person becomes the supreme issue of our lives now, once we have understood the good news of the gospel. And that is that we have been restored back to a person and delivered from an economy of works. That message was being tested in Galatia. There were people who were saying, you've also got to do this, or you've also got to do that. And the Apostle Paul in Galatians chapter 1 said, when you do this or that, in a mindset or a belief system that you're somehow going to benefit yourself apart from Jesus, you are actually being removed from him because you're focusing on other than him. Paul put it very clear in Philippians. He said, he is my one thing, and that is what I pursue above anything else, is to know him. I want to go back to that passage today. Galatians 1, verses 6 and 7. Listen to it. I marvel that you are so soon removed from him that called you into the grace of Christ unto another gospel, which is not another gospel. But there are some that trouble you and would pervert the gospel of Christ. I want to focus on that word pervert. It's a good word. When you add to Jesus with any kind of demand or standard or performance or behavior to either make you right or make you experience right apart from him, you are leaving him, and that's perverting the gospel. But I don't think that word's been translated correctly. Get your concordance, prove it for yourself, and look it up. The word actually means reversing the gospel. Reversing the gospel. What do you mean, Pastor Frank? Well, it's very clear. In the Garden of Eden, all man knew was God. He was like a fish in water. He lived the water, breathed the water. So we live and breathe God. Adam chose to eat from the tree of right and wrong, good and evil, and put the focus on himself instead of on God and on his own performance. And he went from being a receiver to an achiever. Jesus came to set that all straight again by delivering us from the economy of works and putting us back into the economy of receiving. Now, do you see what Paul was saying? If you add even one issue to that good news, you're reversing the gospel. Oh, we've got to use the King James. We use the New American. We baptize by immersion only. You know, you've got to follow the 10 Commandments. You know, you have to do this. You have to, anytime. One issue. Add one. Only one. And you have just reversed the gospel. You have taken your eyes off of the only one onto something else. You see, it's not a part-way move. It's an all or nothing. And so the moment you add one thing, you have turned away from him. And Paul said that's not good news. That's not a gospel. Because you will be forfeiting the full experience of him. Because you're looking to other than him. And Paul said this as he started that verse. I marvel that you would do that. I'm astonished. I'm shocked. Because if you've tasted all that Jesus is, you know there's nothing else that can satisfy. And he's almost being incredulous here in the form of a question. How could you do that? Having found the true source of life, how could you look for life in anything other than him? If you've been reversing the gospel, if you've been focusing on something other than him as a source of life, stop it and turn back to him. And as Jesus said, live out of him. Colossians 3, Paul put it well. He is our life. Bless you in Jesus' name.